Welcome to another RSR. Tonight I'm reviewing CD Olimpia 1, CSD Municipal 0 in the Scotiabank CONCACAF League Round of 16, Leg 2, 2022. Olimpia wins 3-2 on aggregate. CD Olimpia 1, CSD Municipal 0. 1-0 esta noche, 3-2 global en octavos de final de la Liga CONCACAF Scotiabank 2022. Olimpia ganar tu cuartos de final. En cuartos de final. Easy win for Olimpia. Halftime 0-0, 0-0, 2-2 global, 0-0, 2-2 on aggregate. Then in the 65th minute, the one goal that was needed for Olimpia to basically cut this tie off. Corner kick played in. Jose Pinto heads it down into the path of Michael Chirinos. Chirinos taps it in and makes it 1-0, 1-0. 3-2 global, 3-2 on aggregate in the 65th minute. Michael Chirinos gets it done. Very scrappy goal, but that's all they needed was one to basically put this away. And Olimpia got it done because Municipal basically just gave up after that. They basically just gave up after that goal was scored. You could tell as the time ran through, they just kept giving up and been more sloppy. And if they could somehow bumble their way into a 2-goal win or a 2-2 draw to get the penalties, they would have taken it. But they weren't being serious. They just wanted to bumble through. Full time, 1-0, 3-2 on aggregate to Olimpia, 1-0, 3-2 global. Olimpia ganar cuartos de final. Full-time stats, 8 shots to 13, 5 shots on goal to 6, 57% possession to 43% possession, 457 passes to 328 passes, 95% pass accuracy to 82% pass accuracy, 11 fouls to 15, 3 offside to 0, 1 yellow card to 2, 0 red cards to 0, and 4 corners to 4. Olimpia, defensively, they allowed some big chances, but Edric Menjivar stood on his head once again. From when this tie got tied at 2-2 with the away goals at Olympia's favor, what did Edric Menjivar do? Stand on his head for the last 30 minutes of the first leg. And then now, through 90 minutes of this leg, he stood on his head. Defensively, Olimpia did good enough. Municipal, they put on some very good chances throughout the game. But after that Chirinos goal was scored, they were bumbling. They said if we could stumble into a 2-2 draw to go to penalties or a 2-1 win to win outright, that'll be great. But if we can't do that, as the time ran through, as the sands ran through the hourglass, they basically said, okay, now that we know we're basically screwed, we'll sort of give up as the time goes on. They knew that it was getting later and later, and the sands were getting less and less. The grains were subtracting bit by bit, and they knew it. And they knew that they should have scored. The one thing that's going to hurt Municipal more than anything is that they should have scored at home in that first leg. They got a 3-2 win. That one goal by Olimpia would have changed nothing. Nothing. Well, no, they would have had the away goals, but Municipal would only have to score one. But Municipal would have felt a lot better going home 3-2 or going away 3-2 than going away 2-2 with away goals landing towards Olimpia. I said it. They needed to score that third goal in Guatemala. They needed to score that third. Edric Menjivar saved this tie. Even if the goal wasn't scored by Chirinos, Olimpia was still in position to go through on away goals. They did not need to score that goal. That's just what put it away. Edric Menjivar made sure that door never swung open. He couldn't slam it shut, but he kept it closed. He kept pulling it as hard as he could. Like you're in a closet during a tornado, making sure that door doesn't open. He did that. The winds were howling around him. What did he do? He kept that door closed. He held on to that door for dear life. Stood on his head, got it done. Man of the tie, not just man of the match. Man of the tie for me is Edric Menjivar. Olimpia does not go through if not for him. Because, if we're being honest, Jerry Bankston and Boniek Garcia let Olimpia down, getting those red cards in the first leg. Jorge Benguche in the second leg did not play well at all. Hell, his replacement didn't play well either. Michael Chirinos, who should have started in midfield instead of Boniek, or starting for Boniek, who came on as a sub. He did score the goal. He scored the goal. Was it scrappy? Yes, but he scored it. Should have started, I told you. Benguche sort of disappointed me tonight. Chirinos should have started. But the constant is Edric Menjivar. And this game, this tie should earn him a contract in MLS or Liga MX. I'm not joking. AKA, Toronto, you better sign his ass in December. At his worst, he can't be worse than Bono, and at his best, he's 100 times better. Go do it. With that being said, though, Menjivar has earned a lot of plaudits from this tie. He is the player who's coming out shining like gold tonight because of what he did in goal last week and this week. The last 30 minutes of last week and this week, all the whole game. He is the reason Olimpia are going through. Because if he didn't stand on his head, they could be going through on away goals still. Or they could have lost by 1. And it could have been Municipal. He had to stand on his head when it mattered the most. And he did. He never faltered. Never wavered. What an amazing performance. That's honestly the thing that I really need to talk about is Edric Menjivar. Other than that, Olimpia did what they had to do. They honestly were toying. Municipal had their moments, but let's be honest. Olimpia were toying with them. For most, since they've been down, they were down 2 men in the first leg. They've just been toying with them. They're talently better. They are a bigger club. They are talent better. They're talent-wise, they're better. Olimpia. And they just showed off. Fan-wise, talent-wise, and shithousing-wise. They just showed off that they were better. They were basically toying with Municipal because they scored those 2 early goals. Municipal found 2 goals and couldn't score a third. That's what's going to hurt them, and that's the one thing they're going to regret, is that they couldn't score that 3rd goal at home. That's what they're going to regret. They played well. Don't get me wrong. Municipal never quit. They never gave up. They never wavered as well. Even when they sort of gave up, they were still trying, but it was more like, if we are going to get there, it's more of a bumbling, stumbling effort to where they kind of luck into it. But they weren't getting that luck with Menjivar in goal. They weren't. But I wouldn't say they completely gave up, but they sort of just didn't have the pizzazz they did in the first half or the last 30 minutes of the last week's first leg. They didn't. Since that Chirinos goal went in, they didn't really have that pizzazz. They just did enough. They tried to do enough to bumble in if they had to and get the luck, but they didn't get it. Referees still sucked, but that's the pro referees crew for you. So I'm not going to say he was biased towards anybody, one team, but that refereeing crew sucked, by the way, but it's pro refs. So I told you, have fun with it. Sarcastically. It's not fun. With that being said, though, again, man of the tie, Edric Menjivar. I'm proud of Municipal for the way they fought. They still technically did better in this tournament than Comunicaciones did. Again, we'll touch on the Champions Curse in the recap tomorrow. Whether I'm premiering it or do it that day, probably premiere. Such is what it is. But Municipal did better. So with that being said, again, my predictions in the round of 16, 5 out of 8. We'll go over that in the recap as well. And you'll hear what I think about the quarterfinals as well in the next video. So if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification. Once you subscribe, send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put us in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you tomorrow for the premiere, most likely, of the round of 16 recap and quarterfinal predictions for the 2022 Scotiabank CONCACAF League. I will be back. I'll see you for that. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace.